Hello and welcome to my careful ramble. I'm Reed Riggs, recording back from my car on my drive to work. Yesterday, I taught my first classes of the semester. I had new 9th graders, and then I had my returning 10th graders, and then my returning seniors. I had designed about a 20-minute, I think it turned into about a 30-minute sort of day one intro. But I want to share about that because it seemed to have an impact how I define language for my students. I specifically designed this for my 9th graders because they were new to me, and I wanted to overcome some of the assumptions about language study, like how to think about what you're doing and how that impacts what you're doing when you're given a text and some vocab, or you're interacting with people in class, or just whatever we're doing with language. So we looked at some proficiency descriptors in the IB system. So we have emergent, capable, and proficient. Those are the 3 levels, and each of them breaks into 2 phases. It's phase 1 and 2 are emergent. Phase 3 and 4 is capable, and phase 5 and 6 is proficient. And we read different descriptors, and I said, notice that there's no mention of words or grammar. That these are about what you can do. And so it's like I can analyze a text, I can identify information. So I told them that we do need words and we do need grammar. In Chinese, it's a little funky what we call grammar. I just tell them that words have a preferred place in a sentence. It's really about the word. And that we are accumulating lots of vocabulary. And then I have an image of a scoreboard, probably on a basketball game. I don't know where it is, and that's kind of the point. It's just some image of a scoreboard, maybe a high school gym. And I said, imagine you are watching a sports game on TV and the camera the entire time is just on the scoreboard. That would be silly because that's not how we watch games. We actually don't watch the scoreboard. We might check it, but we watch the game. And so in this metaphor, what I'm talking about is words and grammar are the scoreboard, and we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the game, and the game is communication. What information are we talking about? If we're talking about a text, we're not talking about the words. We're talking about whatever the text is talking about, whatever information is in that text. If I ask you what your name is, you're not going to say, oh, I know those words. You're going to tell me your name. So communication is, generally, I know there are definitions we give teachers, the expression, interpretation, negotiation of meaning in a given context for a given purpose. For my students, that's a little jargony and a little abstract, and it doesn't cut to the point the way I preferred yesterday, which was just to say it's the information that we're talking about, and in reality, it'll sometimes not be that. Sometimes it'll be something I'm asking you to do. In the case of tasks, it's a little tricky. We're not talking about the task. We're just telling each other what to do to complete the task. That's close enough and extra. I didn't need to go into that. And then giving examples. And so that's how I think I helped define what we mean by communication and what we should be focusing on. It was just to give some relatable examples. And every class had a kind of aha, like, oh, and kind of head nod. I also showed them a video from the IB Teacher Resource website about listening. Now, when they say listening, what they really mean is video and audio materials where students are listening from those materials. They don't seem to be referring directly to the teacher using the target language the whole time, but I let them infer that, and then I talked about that a lot of the listening is because the class is fully immersive. So I hope that this does circumvent a lot of the problems that I've had with students in the past, where they're so used to treating a language class as a place where they're just focused on the accumulation of vocabulary and saying, oh, I already know these words, oh, I don't know these words. Instead, taking their focus off of that, putting their focus onto the information that we're talking about, and I acknowledged with them, I said, yeah, we still need language, we still need words, we still need whatever we're calling grammar, but that's the scoreboard. We're not going to focus on that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to working with these students now, and I think it was good to put that up front for them, so that moving forward I can still keep using some of these metaphors. I can sprinkle them in whenever relevant. But yeah, it's going to be a good year. I have very strong 9th graders coming in. I made a little reading for them, and I made it so that I thought I could kind of, slowly scaffold and check and be like, remember this word, remember this word. What do you think this means? I did not need to do any of that. They loudly all read it together and had no problem with it. So that was surprising, and I'm excited to build further up with them. It's cool to have such a strong class coming into 9th grade. Thanks for listening.